Okay, so it seems like obviously at the moment there's a really big event which is on a lot of people's minds at the moment, which is TwitchCon. Now, TwitchCon is a very big event, if you don't know, to do with the streaming platform Twitch. And yeah, they said they take place in obviously the USA and over in Europe. And it's actually going on right now. As this video comes out, TwitchCon will be about halfway through. But obviously, it seems like a lot of VTubers and people in the VTubing adjacent space have been talking about boundaries whenever it comes to TwitchCon, because there's been a lot of backlash regarding this, because again, there's been so much kind of hatred and stuff spread in the space over the past year or so that people were concerned that maybe something could happen and maybe there could be an incident, which Twitch has obviously responded to that by like kind of upping a lot of security and things to make it, you know, feel more safe. But obviously a lot of people are still not comfortable with really going even in the first place. But for the people that are going, especially VTubers that are going, they've actually kind of warned their fans about, you know, kind of personal space and what you should really do when interacting with a VTuber or any kind of creator. Because let's be real, there is obviously a lot of, you know, regular people in the VTubing space, but there's also a lot of people who maybe don't go outside as much and don't really understand social cues and social etiquette as much. So it is really important that obviously people put out these kind of messages to let people know that, hey, you know, this isn't very comfortable for someone if you do this, so please don't do this, right? And the first one obviously comes from MegalodonVT, who's been very, very vocal about Twitch and stuff like that recently, with a lot of the kind of users and viewers stuff that's been going on with them losing a lot of viewers from a lot of the updates that Twitch has been making. But obviously Megalodon says here, all I ask for at TwitchCon this year is that no one follows me around the con. Please, please, please. If I'm going to go one way after we talk, please don't follow me through the con after. Which is 100% a totally valid statement there. I mean, so many people can be very weird and kind of, I don't know, they don't really follow social cues very well. And I think a lot of the time it isn't out of any kind of malice or anything like that. I don't think people mean to really make these people feel uncomfortable. I think they honestly, yeah, just lack the kind of social awareness to be like, hey, you shouldn't really follow this person after you literally just talk to them, right? But again, sometimes it can be malicious too, which obviously is then going to concern any VTuber or any person that is being followed around by at a con after meeting someone. So yeah, these are some of these kind of things that get brought up very, very often at every single con, and it is something that you should be kind of looking out for and just kind of remembering that, hey, you know, once you meet up with them, just go your separate way, just walk on, and just kind of, yeah, don't try not to follow them, because it is weird. And whether you're meaning to follow them or you're not meaning to follow them, you're just going in the same direction, maybe just wait a minute. And yeah, because again, obviously a lot of people can get very kind of aware of this kind of stuff happening, especially with previous incidents and things happening. There's been so many horror stories at different cons, not just TwitchCon, by the way, like Offkai and things like that, of people following them around cons, and that can be a really, really big problem, especially with a lot of parasocial viewers out there. Again, you know, there's some people, you don't know what they're really going to do. You don't know whether they are just literally just very, very socially inept, or if they are planning on actually trying to do something to this kind of streamer, right? And it can be a really, really big concern for many people out there. So it is best just to kind of stay away, because yeah, if you do stay away, then there's not going to be any problems. Not to say that you can't come up to them and be like, hey, can I get a picture? Or can I, well, probably not a picture, considering that some of them don't show their faces, but can I talk, or can I, or like, you know, whatever, you know, or go an autograph, whatever, like literally anything else, and just kind of have the interaction. And then after you have the interaction, then leave it, go about your day, go walk around TwitchCon, see what's going on, and that's about it, right? And I think it is a very, very valid point there. But also there is some kind of, as well, things that go on at TwitchCon, like parties and things that you also need to be careful about. Now, obviously, a lot of people are telling Megalodon to be safe over here, but this came out from RickyVT as well, who you probably know, and essentially they talked about, you know, some experiences that they've had at TwitchCon, saying, last TwitchCon, I had the terrifying experience of having my drink tampered with, and I'm still really shaken up by it. I'm nervous to go to this this year, but I'm doing my best to push past my fears because I want to see my friends and my community again. PSA, in large crowds and after parties, these situations can happen to anyone. Please stay safe. Never accept food or drinks from people that you don't know. Always look out for the people around you and stick with the people you trust. Going to make this TwitchCon the best it can be. See y'all there. So yeah, obviously another bit of kind of I guess a warning for some people, especially creators, less so for the fans. Well, I get, well, still so for the fans, I guess, too. But again, there is a big problem over at TwitchCon with drink spiking and things like that going on, which can also be a big issue for many people. And I can 100% see why, Ricky is not so, happy with going, and a little bit scared about going, especially if he's went through it, right? And it is a problem. There was obviously a post that came out from someone, I forgot who it was, but essentially there was this guy who he knew, who was essentially drinking a lot of girls' drinks as like a funny like party thing. It wasn't very funny, but like he thought it was funny, and he would literally grab the drink, down it, and then give it back to them, right? And essentially what happened to them after they found out was he ended up in hospital because he drank so many different kind of like drinks, different kind of like that had different kind of spikes and stuff in it, right, that were supposed to be for those women that they put in there. He ended up just drinking them all and tanking them all essentially, and ended up in hospital. And that obviously shows you how bad the problem is there. If you got hit by multiple of them, and there'll be multiple people that could have been obviously targeted, and that would have been absolutely terrible. And that was at TwitchCon. So again, there is a big issue with that, and it still continues, as they say, last TwitchCon that literally happened to Ricky. So it can happen at any point. It's not like this is an old thing, or this is something that isn't going on anymore. It still happens to this day. Last TwitchCon, it literally happened. So it means that there probably isn't any exception that it isn't going to happen this time. It 100% probably will happen again. And you got to be careful for it, because again, you can find yourself in some pretty terrible situations. And obviously, yeah, your TwitchCon isn't going to be, the best experience if that does end up happening, right? So again, obviously, just be careful what you're kind of accepting from people. Be careful what you're drinking. Be careful about, keeping stuff close to you and making sure that nobody is kind of tampering with it, because again, you can have these issues. And obviously, as I said, the same goes for a lot of social cues and things like that. Don't be weird. Obviously, I think that is 100% one of the main things that people don't want you to do, is be weird and kind of follow people around. Again, it's just one of the worst kind of feelings as a creator if someone is just kind of stalking you from a distance. Even if you are like 10 meters away and you're kind of like loosely following them, the chances are they can probably still see you, right? Or someone on their team can still see you. And yeah, it can end up being a big problem for them, even if you are completely innocent in your ways and you're very excited to see them, right? It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It is one of these cases where it does look extremely weird if you are following around a creator, especially a VTuber, around in this space. So again, just watch out for that, and be a little bit careful whenever it comes to that kind of stuff, because yeah, many people are quite validly concerned about it. And especially with a lot of the rise in hatred and stuff in the kind of streaming space over the past year or so, people were more concerned about something bad going wrong over there, which again is the big reason as to why many streamers are not going, or many streamers are maybe going for a very short amount of time, because yeah, it just seems to get worse every year, TwitchCon, for me at least, because I don't know what it is that they do. But yeah, it just seems like a little bit more unsafe every single year they go. And they also decide to put it in like the dodgiest part of like San Diego, which I think is pretty interesting, especially for an event where obviously there's a big plethora of different people there. I think it's just one of the worst kind of places that you could put it. But again, obviously, some people don't mind it, some people would like it, so maybe that is the case. But yeah, obviously, whenever you go to these cons, as I said, just be safe. And watch out for your drinks and stuff. And also, as I said, don't be weird whenever it comes to talking to your favorite VTuber or favorite creator or favorite whatever, because it does get a little bit weird if you try to follow them around or whatever afterwards, and you will have probably a Twitch clip talking about you like a couple weeks later, right? So again, just be careful, as I said, and that is about it. But if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.